And then we'll do a little run through to the agenda. So that's going to be share screen, agenda. All right, so we've launched the meeting. First, we'll ask board members to introduce themselves, say your name and your position if you're an officer, and then state the reasons, the interests, concerns that lead you to serve on the board, and that can serve as your candidacy statement as well. And please say whether you are willing to, whether you are seeking re-election to the board. So name, position, why you want to serve on the board, and whether you are seeking to be re-elected to the board. And then for our visitors, like Matthew and Linda, please give your name and your interests and concerns with regard to Brentwood Darlington neighborhood. But of course, that doesn't really apply to either of you because you're not residents here. So just introduce yourselves and who you're with and why you're here. Thank you. Then we'll go on to review the past fiscal year, our accomplishments, and a preview of some upcoming events and activities. Then we'll turn the show over to Matthew. He is going to give an overview of the Southeast Uplift Neighborhood Coalition and what its role is. And then we will proceed to our election of directors and then our election of board officers. So Matthew will make this happen. Thank God he's here. And then we'll check on the time there. We may have time for a report from Master Gardeners. So Linda, if we have time, we would love to hear from you about what's going on. And then we'll go to board business, approve the minutes of, and this is wrong now, it's not February, it should be March and April. And treasurer's report should not be April, should be March. And then if we have time, we'd like to hear from Kim DeLeo about the most recent Southeast Uplift board meeting. So I apologize for the errors in this agenda. When I put it out, I was on the verge of leaving and I was exhausted. I could hardly see the screen. So I hope you'll just overlook these mistakes. And then under other business, we do have a couple of issues we'd like to bring up. Pam, perhaps you could briefly tell people about the release of the public draft for the TGM, just a few words. And
it's really short, Stephanie, because it hasn't been released yet. They're late.
No, all you need to do is say that it is being released.
Okay, very good.
Okay. And then I have some news about Eric Wyckoff that I'd like to share with you. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing now. And we'll go on to our introductions from board members. And again, please say your name, your position, whether you're seeking re-election, and why you wish to serve on the board. So Laura Lee, would you go first?
Hi, I'm Laura Lee Cole, and I am currently a board member, and I am secretary on the board. It's an officer position. I wanted to be on the board to try to make a difference in our community and our neighborhood. I started going to these meetings about 3 years ago, and I've seen a lot of progress and a lot of change, a lot of enthusiasm, and I want to continue being on the board. And I am running again for secretary, but don't discourage anybody else from running for secretary as well. So that's about it.
Okay, perfect. Fine. Thank you very much, Laura Lee. Derek.
Yes. Let's see. I've lived in the neighborhood since 2012, and I am currently a board member at large. I I'm like participating in the neighborhood association as a board member as part of outreach, reaching out to new neighbors and getting them involved. And yeah, and I'm interested in continuing in that role as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Derek.
Mhm.
Kim DeLeo.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Kim DeLeo, and I am currently a board member and will be running for re-election to the board. And I currently also participate for Southeast Uplift. And I think my biggest reason for joining the neighborhood association was to start to really dedicate some time to trying to make a difference or help out when needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim. Great. All right. Okay, and Pam Hodge.
Yes, sorry, my phone started ringing at the same time, so I just muted it. So hello, everyone. I'm Pam Hodge, and I have been serving as the treasurer since October of last year. I am seeking re-election, but like Laura Lee, if there's anyone else interested, I will cede my spot. And I have served on the board since May of 2018 with a one-year break for the pandemic. And over that time period, I've served on a number of committees and projects, including review of the BDNA bylaws, which we need to revisit, serving on the Southeast Uplift board prior to Kim, serving on the Errol Heights Park Advisory Committee for a couple of years, serving on the Oregon Health Authority, Precision Cast Parts Environmental Risk Assessment for a couple of years, currently representing BDNA on the city planning study of Brentwood, Darlington, and adjacent areas. And I'm working with Stephanie on the revitalization of the Brentwood, Darlington Community Center. So I have a range of interests, really all aspects, but particularly planning for increased resiliency in the face of climate change.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Pam. Gail Keeley. We cannot hear you. Oh,
Stephanie, she said in the chat she was having problems with her volume.
I see. Okay, so Gail, are you seeking re-election, I hope? Okay, wonderful. All right. And you are our Movies in the Park champion. Yes. And you help organize other events and participate in them, like the recycling and the crafting. All right. All right. So, okay. So all right. So I see in the chat you're running for re-election. Okay, wonderful. All right. Okay. Your statement is complete. Thank you very much. All right. And Mo Ham.
Hi, everyone. Mo, Monica Ham. I've been in Portland 8 years, and I've been in Brentwood, Darlington for 5. And I care about Portland as a whole and our neighborhood. I would like to do things to make things better overall. I'll just leave it at that for the moment. I am on the board. I am choosing to drop off the board right now, but I will be remain involved with my neighbors and friends on the board and stay in touch on things that are happening and do whatever I can to continue to improve things. So I am just electing at this time to drop off the board, maybe to return at another time if needed.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank you so much, Mo, for your months of service. We really appreciate it. And maybe I'll come and talk to you about a possible role with us that does not involve being on the board.
Right. And Stephanie, thank you so much for all you are doing and wanting to remain and continue to do all this. I do plan to be in touch with you and the other folks and help how I can.
Okay, very fine. Thank you so much, Mo. All right, so there are 2, oh no, 3. Casey Carlton, are you there? And can you?
I am here.
Wonderful.
And yes. And I have been a board member just for a year now, just lived in the Uplift for less than 3 years. I just like to echo the same sentiments pretty much that have already been spoken. I'm behind and supportive of every single thing that has been said and put forward by everyone. And at the point that I did actually get to spend some time with fellow board members, it makes, yeah, it makes me feel like I want to go for another round.
Oh, wonderful.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Casey.
Yeah.
I'm going to be coming to talk with you about doing some of these pop-up cleanups. And so
If the
that'll be
sun ever graces us with its presence again.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
try
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Well, even if it doesn't, I'm still going to come and talk to you about it.
That's okay. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So, all right. That leaves Vivian Shung and me. I'll speak for Vivian briefly. I know that she's seeking re-election. She's interested in increasing tree canopy in Brentwood Darlington and doing other things to help with trees and green stuff and climate. So I welcome her bid for re-election. She'll join us as soon as she can. We worked out an arrangement where she joins the board meeting late because she's a single parent dealing with a little baby, and babies do not like to go to sleep, and it's very hard to get them to go to sleep. So she'll be joining us when we start the election process a little after 7 o'clock tonight. So I've spoken for Vivian. I'll speak for myself now. I'm Stephanie Frederick. I've been the chair since last October. I seek re-election to the board and to the chair position if and hope that you'll have me again, but we'll see. I want to serve on the board because I care a lot about the neighborhood. I'm very interested in reviving the Brentwood Darlington Community Center. I think it's an absolute jewel in our neighborhood, and we need to use it in every possible way. It has so much potential, and so that is one of my main goals here. I also want to get started on a climate action program this next year. The board voted to support a climate action program, but we haven't laid one out yet or begun it, but I intend to do that. And I also am seeking to improve the status of neighborhood associations in general. We've taken some severe blows over the last few decades, and I want to see us regain our voice and our status with the city of Portland. So for those various reasons, I am seeking re-election. And also there's another reason is that I enjoy all of you so much, and I'm so glad to know you. So that's been a real pleasure, just continuous month after month. So thank you for that. Okay, so now we've reached the point where we're going to just recap what's happened over the past few years. I'm just going to go through that quickly. If you see me missing something or you want to elaborate, please raise your hand and we'll stop for you. Okay. All right. So accomplishments of BDNA fiscal year 22-23. All right. Last year we held in July the concert in the park, thanks to Gail. And as I remember, Gail, you said it was well attended and it was a very, very hot. We conducted a Sparrowhawk native plant sale in September, thanks to Chelsea Powers. And that reminds me, as we move into our new fiscal year, I want to do something to honor Chelsea. We haven't properly honored the tremendous amount of work that she's put in. And so I like to work on that perhaps over the summer. Okay, Gail and Tina launched the crafting circle at BDCC, and Tina organized, and then we on the board helped to help make it happen, the Spring Green Recycling event, which was a huge success. We had more than 200 people show up. We made a lot of money. People, it was a very upbeat event. People were so happy at the event. These people pouring in with stuff in their arms and big smiles on their faces, and it was really a pleasure to participate in that event. So that was a huge success. And then I also co-facilitated a forum with Woodstock Neighborhood Association, and this was for the candidates for District 3 Multnomah County Commissioner. That's our district. Our commissioner was Jessica Vega Peterson. She moved up to chair of the county commission, and so we have new candidates vying for her empty seat. All right, under long-term planning, we continued with the TGM process. We continued working with Impact Northwest on the vision for revitalizing the community center. We in our meetings, we introduced Exploring Brentwood Darlington, which is a forum for local artists, artisans, and business people who have home-based businesses here. And that's been fun to get to know the people who have spoken. And we launched a committee to develop a vision for community use of the Brentwood Darlington Community Center. So Gail and Tina are leading that. And I need to send you my little list of ideas so you can add to your list. And then under more administrative accomplishments, we had a tough summer last year, but thanks to all of you, we made it through a lot of different, a lot of transitions, a lot of pain, but we emerged at the end of the summer, still intact as a neighborhood association. Okay, Laura Lee, yes, do you have a question?
I just wanted to add to what we did last year in 2022, because I seem to remember drilling holes in 350 buckets.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes, you did. All right.
Soak It Week. Woohoo! Don't forget to water your trees this summer.
Yeah, we need to advertise it, and thank you. I'm sorry I did not even remember to think of all those holes you drilled, but those were a lot of holes that you drilled, and we gave all at a couple of different venues like Sparrowhawk and then the Movies in the Park. We gave away barrels, right?
We had 2 events for Soak It Week, and then Chelsea came up with the idea last minute. We had about 100 buckets left over, and she's like, bring them to Sparrowhawk, and they were gone in 2 days, and it was the most fantastic idea. So yeah, that was wonderful to get them all distributed to the neighborhood.
Okay, let me just quickly make a note here. Thank you. Thank you very much, Laura Lee. Okay, and then to go back to what happened over the year, we got to October. Chelsea resigned because she had too much going on. This is after 5 years as chair, and we were able to hold elections in October and pretty much reconstitute our board and elected chair and treasurer. And then Laura Lee continued as our secretary. We still do not have a land use person, but I have some good news about Eric Wyckoff. He can't participate on the board, but he will in another capacity, and I'll tell you about that under other business. So we renewed our fiscal sponsorship agreement with Southeast Uplift. We rescued our communications grant. We got a Metro Refresh grant to cover the costs of the e-cycling event. We held a board retreat in March. We began the practice of developing policies to help us carry out our work. So in addition to bylaws, we're now developing a set of policies that help us make decisions and figure out what work we have to do. We got our reports with the Oregon Secretary of State and Department of Justice filed on time. And we created a library of fundraising ideas, thanks to a whole bunch of you who joined us on a Eureka night. And we have a lovely set of ideas, and we need to call on them this next year and get going on that. And then Brett Farrell has agreed to be one of our board advisors, and he is helping us develop a new website using Squarespace. Thank you so much, Brett. We really appreciate this. And then we created what we're calling the BDNA Board Advisors, which is like a subcommittee of individuals who contribute valuable expertise to us, but do not serve officially on the board. And so we have 4 people in that capacity now. Brett Farrell is one. Tina Bjornstad Zafrensky is another. Lisa Jameson is a third person. And all of a sudden I'm blanking on the 4th person, but we're going to have a 5th, and I'll tell you about him under board business, but that's Eric, obviously. Who's our 4th person? Oh, Pim Carlton, excuse me. This is Casey Carlton's wife.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I didn't want to
Pim-
say anything, you know.
Pim, yeah, well, you should have reached out and rattled my cage there.
We're neighbors, you know. Come
Yes,
on.
now Pim has many wonderful qualifications, and including some experience with Squarespace as well. So she can, when Brett isn't helping me, she can help me, and with the website, which is wonderful. And at the e-cycling event, it was Pim who did all the recording of the donations coming in, and kept a lot of order present at our main table. And she was just a wonderful resource, and I appreciated her being there tremendously. Okay, so for upcoming events, we're going to be having our movie in the park. Again, thanks to Gail. And Sparrowhawk chose us again to have plant sale. I think part of it is that we have such an excellent site at the community center. It really suits their purposes very well. And with the help of Master Gardeners last year and LGL and Black Futures Farm, we were able to supply the volunteers needed to set out the plants and label the pots and all that. All right, so in addition, we'll be advocating for the Lower Southeast Rising, or TGM as we call it, plan. We'll continue working on the BDCC with Impact Northwest and developing a network of partners to spread resilience resources throughout our neighborhood. Earl Heights Park is going to be opening late in 2023. And then we will turn attention to our land use committee. We need to revise the guidelines, the bylaws, and maybe we'll end up with a land use person. We'll have to see if we come up with candidates. And we should also begin to see construction of our greenway and our sidewalk infills finally. Yes, it's been a long time, been 5 years, but it's going to happen. They're promising us. Lots of reasons for delays, and it was sad, but it's coming. So are there any additions or comments about our past and our future? No? Okay. All right. Very fine. Then, Matthew, may we turn the meeting over to you, please?
Sure thing. And thanks for the recap. I've really enjoyed the meeting updates that have been going out. Just well done on the communications. Fantastic recaps of like what your meetings are about and what the information, people can take from it are. Like, for example, find out that Gail's been involved in the neighborhood for over 20 years. That is awesome. Thank you so much for your time and efforts there. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start my presentation. Oh, first, a quick introduction. Sorry. Machi Williams, I use he, him pronouns. I am your staff liaison at the Southeast Uplift District Coalition office. So if you have like questions to Southeast Uplift and you don't know who to turn to first, for board members, please reach out to me and I'll try to get you to the right either staff member or a contact at the city to help connect you with the resource. That said, I'll start my presentation about what Southeast Uplift is more in depth. Let's see. And hopefully sharing's enabled and I can just share this screen. All right, so Southeast Uplift is, like I mentioned, a district coalition office. There's currently 7 districts in the city of Portland, and we are definitely in a historical time. That might change soon to 4, but at the moment we are 1 of 7. So our mission is collaborating with the Southeast Portland community to build informed, inclusive, and participatory neighborhoods that support our social and ecological well-being since 1968. So we've been a district coalition office since before the neighborhood system was formalized here in Portland in 1973-4 budget year, I believe. So who makes up the board of directors and who helps provide oversight at the district coalition office? Well, there's 20 seats reserved for all of the neighborhood associations that comprise the district. Generally speaking, that's from I-84 south to the county line, from the Willamette River, more or less to 82nd. And I say more or less because Montevideo extends beyond towards I-205 approximately, a little bit beyond 92nd there. So that's an exception there. And also it's worth noting that Arnwald Johnson Creek has a portion in the district that encompasses Johnson Creek Boulevard, but they are a neighborhood that extends further south into the city of Milwaukee and Clackamas County. So like I said, more or less, that is the general boundaries of the district. That's approximately 26% of the city of Portland's entire population in this district. But there's room for 4 business district associations, and there's 7 nonprofit organizations and 7 at-large directors that can be on this board. So it is, an attempt to represent the diverse perspectives and membership that comprise the people of the district. So how does Southeast Uplift support your neighborhood association? Well, in general, there's about 10 very specific ways as well as many others. One of the first and probably the most tangible or real felt ones is the community small grants. This fund helped provide the Brentwood-Darlington directory resource guide, for example, in all the different languages. We provide small grants for big ideas around community-driven projects in the inner Southeast area, or primarily serving the inner Southeast Portland area. In addition to this, all neighborhood associations receive communication funds. These are non-competitive funds that you can use to support your website. If you have a Zoom subscription, or if you have some printed materials, it could be used towards that. Currently, this is at $500 per cycle to provide that base coverage. I'm hoping to have some exciting updates about that soon, but time will tell. Fiscal sponsorship, as Stephanie mentioned, we allow Brentwood-Darlington to apply for grants that require a 501c3 status. So allows Brentwood-Darlington, for example, to use our 501c federal status to get government grants, contracts, and access to other resources you would not otherwise have access to, as well as tax deductible donations and contributions to the neighborhood association, which have to report Brentwood-Darlington has received some in the past couple of years. Nice sizable ones too, I might mention. We also provide training and skill building. We're building out our curriculum for the next fiscal year. For example, I'm providing an overview of what neighborhood associations are, what each officer's role and responsibilities are, and what the Portland neighborhood system is, as well as future opportunities. I'll get to more about that in the next slide. We also provide advocacy. Like for example, Portland Parks and Recreation was going to remove a lot of lighting from inner Southeast parks, and the board advocated for a staggered removal. rather than an outright removal. So that's one example of a recent success story, thanks to the support of Commissioner Dan Ryan. We also provide community committees. Some examples are, well, we generally advocate for the livability of our neighborhoods. We promote opportunities to influence decision-making, and we sometimes endorse efforts that align with our mission. So while we don't necessarily advocate for everything, we do try advocate for things that support the district and its people, and if there's an equity component, that too is absolutely considered. Capacity building. So we help strengthen your government and make sure that you're in compliance with your policies and requirements. Like for example, we noticed the city archives had an outdated copy of the Brentwood-Darlington bylaws, and we got that updated last October. And so the public record, this it's a public document, so that you all and your neighbors can access that and have the current, most accurate information available. That other support too is for your state filings that Stephanie mentioned, the Secretary of State, Department of Justice. We reimburse those costs, so it doesn't pose a barrier, particularly to neighborhoods that might have less resources, as one example. And we provide affordable meeting space. So like we provide below market rate hybrid meeting spaces at our headquarters at 35th and Main in Southeast Portland off of the Hawthorne Boulevard. And that way, if you ever have a large event, you want a greater reach, we have resources to support you in that effort. And we also provide election support. That's why I'm here tonight, to help officiate your election, which I'll be doing after this short presentation. And document management. Part of the only standards requires that neighborhoods send their meeting minutes and bylaws, including policies, to the district coalition office, so that we collect those, have them available, and can send them out in case there's a turnover in your leadership and somehow like your archives don't survive the transition. We can support you by restoring those, for example. And once we receive a certain capacity, we send those on to the City of Portland records and archives. So those those documents can be accessed by future historians. And finally, insurance. We provide a general liability insurance to your events for Brentwood-Darlington, as well as directors and officers insurance. You can advocate for the best outcomes for your neighborhood without fear of being personally listed in a lawsuit. We would step in and cover you, and it's unlikely to happen. But if it were, we have you covered. Other ways you can get involved, we have a lot of public community committees. It's the Climate Action Justice Committee. We have a Land Use and Transportation Committee, Houselessness Action Committee, and an Engagement Committee. So the times are listed below. Generally in the evenings, 7 p.m. is pretty much the standard time. Second Mondays for Climate Justice, third Mondays for Land Use Transportation, and fourth Mondays for Houselessness Action Committee. And the community engagement is fourth Thursdays. These are public forums where everyone's welcome to participate and join. Don't need to be a board member. And other ways you can stay informed, I'll drop this in the chat, a link where you can sign up for different newsletters. So all board officers should receive our Hey Neighbor flyer. This is like tailored to exclusive neighborhood association content to make sure you're kept up to date in the latest happenings and like recommendations and like tips and tricks to make administration of your neighborhood association board easy and less difficult. But we also offer a general newsletter that's more like the cultural events and greater items of interest in the entire district that we encourage you to sign up for as well. And then finally, save the date for some upcoming events. We have a grantee mixer. So all the recipients of our community small grants this year will be having a food, music, raffle, and just a general get to know the grantees event at Southeast Uplift. This will be Friday, June 2nd, 6 to 8. You can RSVP by sending an email to my colleague, Alex at seuplift.org. And we're having a lead testing event with the City of Portland. The Portland Housing Bureau in particular is leading the charge on this. It's Saturday, June, sorry, I have the date written down somewhere else. I believe it's June 7th. Oh, or wait, June 10th. That's the date. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can bring water samples and other items in your household, like water faucets or pipes, and like test it for lead materials. There's other things you could test too. And then finally, we're having a district-wide town hall meeting with Commissioner Ryan. This is specific to the Southeast, Inner Southeast District. That'll be 6 to 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, June 27th. And this is, they really want to hear from you all, neighborhood associations and nonprofits and other constituents in this district. So there'll be more details shortly on that. And some trainings we have coming up. There's a Ask Me Anything with David Atkins. He is like the eminent nonprofit law attorney in the state of Oregon, works with the nonprofit or the Center for Nonprofit Law. If you have any questions about bylaws and like what to include, if can you do this or how to do it, this is the time to ask it at this event. It'll be virtual Wednesday, May 24th, 6 p.m. And then finally, if you are ever thinking about making the jump from a state domestic nonprofit corporation into a full-fledged federal 501c3 nonprofit, a few neighborhood associations have already done this, or you're thinking about starting your own nonprofit community group, this event is Tuesday, May 30th, 6 p.m. Again, David Atkin will provide an overview of what that entails, the timeline, steps, and costs to do so. And finally, we'll be providing some budgeting 101 overview on Wednesday, June 28th, and a finances 101 with a nonprofit lens or perspective on Thursday, June 29th. This is kind of a sequence, so we particularly recommend this for our neighborhoods as well as other community partners. And here is where you can find us online, seUplift.org. On Facebook, the handle is @se.uplift. And then finally, there is an Instagram account, and that is @seUplift, no dots. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, just if I might interject, Matthew, I want to apologize to Lisa, Tina, and Linda, because I didn't allow you to introduce yourselves. If you don't mind, we'll wait until after the election. The election shouldn't take too long, but I apologize for not giving you a chance to introduce yourself, and Brett as well. So, okay, go ahead, Matthew.
I just saw Lisa raise her hand. I don't know if Stephanie.
Oh, I just had a question for Matthew. Is this the right time?
Oh, yes. Oh, sure.
So I'm the assistant team lead for the neighborhood emergency team. And I'm also, a couple of folks are talking about starting a craft fair. So my question is, could we apply to Southeast Uplift directly, or would we need to do it through BDNA to apply for a grant?
It depends, but I could connect you with my colleague, Lindsay, who handles fiscal sponsorship, and she could assist you with that.
Okay, we'll just check in with her then. Thanks.
Yeah. So next, I'm going to help officiate your elections. So this is going to be in two components. One is everyone here, as long as you're a resident or you work or own a business or are I think nonprofit employee who operates here or a government agency that operates in the area, you're eligible to, you are essentially a member of the Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association general membership. And you can vote for the board of directors or in this general vote. So that's it. After that, that board of directors will then elect who fulfills each board officer role, and that'll be exclusive to that board to determine. So I prepared two forms. The first I'll share with everyone here tonight to elect your current board of directors. So I'll drop in the chat, and please let me know if you have trouble accessing it. Sometimes that happens. All right, it should be available. And if there's any additions I missed, please just go ahead and say it out loud, and I'll regenerate the form really quickly.
Okay, so we're supposed to open this form and then use it to vote.
Correct.
Okay.
Machu, could I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
I am technically not in the Brentwood Darlington boundaries. I'm about 5 houses north of it. And so on the question, I answered no. Is that the right path or, step for me to take?
Yeah, that's a great question. If I recall the discussion last October, I think the board essentially affirmed your alignment with the general membership or
Okay.
confirmed it. So I think you could click yes because the board has a unanimous support of you being a member of the NA. But that's a great question.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, because one can also be admitted to membership if one has interests that align with the general purposes of the neighborhood association. And I think yours certainly do, Vivian.
Thank you.
That's a great form match. I would love to learn how to create that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, I'll email you some information after the meeting.
Thank you. Gail's saying that one of the chairs or presidents lived 3 or 4 houses north of Duke. So, yeah, I guess if your heart is with the neighborhood, then it doesn't really matter where you live. Yeah.
Oh, who was that, Gail? If you could type in the chat. Oh, okay. I just wonder if it might be like Pete Jacobson or someone like that. Okay, it looks like I see 12 responses, so we're getting really close. 13. Okay, I think we have it. So I could share the results. So looks like everyone listed is voted in. Congratulations. So I will now follow up individually with each of the board members listed here and share you a form so you can elect who's going to be in what role. So you can elect your board officers for the next year.
Okay, so wait, what do you need from us?
There'll be another form and I'll send it to the current now confirmed board. And so.
Okay, and while you're doing that, thank you everyone for re-upping. And Mo, I realize you're not re-upping, but I'm gonna try to snag you for something else. And thank you also to you. But thanks everyone. It's really been great working with you this last year. So now we have a whole year to go. That is a joyous prospect.
So I realize because I'm not host, I can't send individual messages. So I'm going to send this to everyone. But really, this is only for the current people elected or seated to the board or in your board of directors to vote on. So that may not be necessarily your advisors and other community members present here tonight. So with that disclaimer, people on the board, if you'd please select your officers, we can confirm them for the next year.
Matthew?
Yeah.
For the members at large,
Oh, did I miss someone?
it won't let me select more than one.
Oh, let me change that real quick.
Thank you, Laura Lee. I was just about to raise that issue too.
So much,
you-
I don't think I see the new link. Oh, maybe I just need to scroll down. Okay. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and you should be able to vote multiple officers now. You might need to hit refresh on your browser window.
Yeah.
To enable that.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, is my name not supposed to be there, or is that
Oh,
I
typo?
just realized that, yeah, it's a typo.
Okay. I was just starting to feel left out.
thank you for
Dun-dun-dun.
speaking up, Casey. Okay, well, so Matthew, I submitted my officer form without checking Casey's name because it wasn't
Yeah,
there.
I did too.
Yeah.
Can we just put it in the chat that we want Casey?
Yes, we
yeah,
want
that
Casey.
great suggestion.
Okay,
So, yes, exactly. If you could follow Kim's example and just say,
okay.
or send a message to me.
Yes, for Casey, absolutely. Yeah, okay.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks. I feel loved. Thanks.
You are.
All right, looks like we have all the responses in. So congratulations, your chair is Stephanie Frederick. Congratulations so much on it, the confirmation of the role. Sorry, I have to open another form to see this. So there's two people entered for, did write-ins for the vice chair. I'll get those names to you. Looks like there's a vote for Derek and a vote for Casey as vice chair. I'm not sure unless you all accept the nomination if that, and I guess it's not a majority vote of the board.
I'll
So
do
I don't know if
another
it would-
yes for Casey. He wants to do that.
I'll second that. for
Oh,
Casey.
I wasn't trying to be the vice chair or anything.
No
That wasn't-
pressure, Casey.
Yeah, that wasn't my goal with
There we
all
go.
this. We were gonna think some Machiavellian plan behind all this, but no.
Yeah, no,
I'm
the
not.
vice chair would be sharing heavily.
Yeah, no, I better not do that then, right, for the moment. I better back out. I'm backing out. I'm backing out.
I'm not in the position to do that either, so I hear you, Casey.
Okay, so I won't announce the vice chair because we haven't had enough momentum here to move it forward. But Secretary Laura Lee, you are secretary for another year.
Thank you, Laura Lee.
And Pam is your treasurer for another year.
Thank you, Pam.
And the members at large, I just double checking, yes, received a majority of votes. So you are all in. Congratulations.
Okay, wonderful. All right. This is a great board going forward. We're in wonderful shape. I'm very grateful to you all and for your work and for re-upping. Thank you so much.
And I'll go
And
ahead and
did-
drop a link in. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Sorry to interrupt, but I was just going to say ditto, Stephanie. We appreciate you taking on the
Oh,
lead.
thank you. Oh, good. Thank you very much.
Absolument.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So, Macho, is there anything else we need to do?
Yes, I would highly encourage everyone, new and returning officers, to please review Southeast Uplift board member welcome packets. These will be receiving some technical amendments in the next probably few weeks that we've noticed some discrepancies, but I'll post in the chat. This is also a great collection of items to support your neighborhood association. This page is updated periodically throughout the year. In addition to the board welcome packets, you also have assurance on information for your events. The other items I mentioned in the presentation on how to get reimbursed your state filing fees, and also some meeting facilitation tips. So like there's a range of resources here to help serve you on your time with the Neighborhood Association Board.
Okay, thank
Sure.
you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. This was very, very polished, smooth, and efficient. Thank you. Really
No, it's a
appreciate it.
pleasure.
Okay, all right, so we are done with the elections part of our agenda then. And all right, very fine. Then I think that we will go on to introducing the people who didn't get a chance, that I gave no chance to, for introductions, and hear from get a report on Master Gardeners, if we could. So Brett, would you introduce yourself? And also Matthew, thank you again. Okay, Brett, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brett Farrell. I've lived in Brentwood, Darlington for, I think, 7 months now. I'm a somewhat new resident, so happy to be an advisor to the board. Thank you again, Stephanie. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working on the website and yeah, continuing to help out on the board in any capacity. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Brett. And so is Lisa Jameson still here? Hi, Lisa. Can you say a word about yourself?
Sure. I'm Lisa. I've lived in Portland for, I think, 4 years and moved November from Woodstock to Brentwood, Darlington. And I'm very interested in assisting with the neighborhood association. I'm particularly interested in the community center. I'm a retired social worker and I'm the assistant team lead for the NET team. We've started meeting at the community center and interested in doing some events to promote community emergency preparedness and improve resiliency in the neighborhood in response to anticipated climate emergencies. So that's mostly it. I've been helping a little bit with Stephanie with some of the building stuff. And I'd love to be on the committee that works on planning for the community center. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
an advisor to the board now. Thanks.
Okay, so we'll have Gail and Tina reach out to you. Okay, Tina.
I'm Tina, and I've been part of the Brentwood Darlington neighborhood since off and on since 1999, and in my current house since 2014. Was a member of the board, stepped back, life got too crazy, and my schedule doesn't always correspond with the meeting times, and my passions drive me. But I'm still an active participant and love putting up proposals and putting in the time and the labor and the energy to make things happen. Hence the proposal for the crafting circle and the electronic spring green event with the bicycle maintenance classes and plant swaps, et cetera, ad nauseum. Really into plants and growing and sustainability and preservation. I have a big old medical background and kind of a prepper, but not really. Went to a lot of the NET meetings and again, couldn't get my times to fill in right. for the open availability of the dates for the classes to become an active member. Still interested in the net process and maybe volunteering some more with that. So that's kind of about me.
Very good. Thank you so much, Tina. Okay, Linda, tell us about Master Gardeners and you.
Okay, I'm the coordinator of the Multnomah County Master Gardener Demonstration Garden off of 57th, just south of Duke. I have been coming to the board meetings here for several years, and I've worked at the garden since 2017. So even though I don't live in Brentwood, Darlington, I spend a lot of time here. Things are ramping up at the garden with lots of flowers blooming, and we've just had our first harvest of edibles, and which we've donated to the Francis Center on 82nd. And we have a couple of events happening in May. The first one is we have a 5th grade class coming from Marysville Elementary for a garden field trip. And then we have our big event happening in May, which is our annual, our big annual fundraiser. And Stephanie has been so kind to publish the link to this plant sale a couple of times. And hopefully you all have gotten that link. It's called the Incredible Edibles Plant Sale, and the 5 things to know about it. Number 1 is they're all organic plants, vegetables and flowers, hundreds of varieties, great prices. And it's an online event, which is happening only through May 10th. So you need to get your orders in by May 10th. And then there will be one pickup day where this is the first year that we're kind of taking on the idea of the Sparrowhawk event, where they were doing their online sales and then having a one-day pickup event. So on our pickup day on May 13th in Northeast Portland, it will be a party with children's events and vendor booths and food trucks, music, etc. So hopefully, Stephanie, can you put that some sort of information in the chat or whatever? And that's all I have.
Well, I won't put it in the chat, but I'll put it
Wherever, yeah.
wherever I'll, this
Yeah,
is
to make it available, yes.
Yeah.
And one other thing, you all are totally welcome to the garden on any day that we're open. Our open garden days are Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 9 to noon.
Oh, good. I was just going to ask you, because I'd like to come by.
Yeah, and our
doing?
pedestrian gate is on 57th, just south of Duke.
Oh, right. Okay,
near the Green Thumb Orchards.
And so I wanted to ask you a question about the Francis Center, because I'm considering reaching out to them to have them give a speaker at one of our meetings, so we'll learn about them. But what form did your harvest take that you donated to them?
We just had some lettuce and mustard greens are the only things that we've harvested so far.
So the Francis Center is something I discovered when visiting Tina and walking around the area there. It's an institution, a nonprofit that donates food and clothing and various kinds of assistance to people who need it, who are desperate for help. And I hadn't heard of them before. And so I've just become aware of them. Oh, Tina, yes? Can't hear you.
Kind of off topic, but back to the Community Center Planning Committee.
Yeah.
I literally just set up a private Facebook group. So if you are interested, like Lisa, I'm going to post the group link. There's no pictures, no information about it, nothing yet. but it's where Gail and I had talked about setting it up so that we'd have a thread to always go to log and make lists and add files of information as we gain it, based off of what was requested at the last meeting. So I'm posting that now.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay. And then, so I didn't, that was to just go back to Linda for a second. That was interesting to me that you gave them fresh produce and that's exciting.
We donate to two places. We donate to the All Saints Church in Woodstock and to the Francis Center. And I believe Mondays are the Francis Center and Thursdays is the All Saints Episcopal Church. And
Oh,
they both have food pantries. So,
okay.
and during the heavy harvest, I mean, we have a lot of stuff that we give them. Sometimes we have so much that they can't take it all, and we go to other places to give it away.
Oh, that's marvelous. That's really good to know. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Linda. And I hope your plant sale is going well.
It is.
I think I sent you a notice that I'm going to order some plants because I became very excited by all the photographs and the fabulous array of plants that you're offering. So, okay, very good. And so we'll, I think I told you we scheduled for tomorrow morning another round of advertising for your plant sale. And that'll go out, tomorrow morning around 9:15.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very fine. Thank you very much.
I have a question for Linda.
Sure.
If we come by, like Stephanie says she's going to come by, I've already come by before. Will you teach us how to keep squirrels from eating acorn squash?
Yes, we will try. The one thing that we've found is chicken wire cages help dramatically to keep the squirrels out, but right now we're having problems with the crows.
Oh, really? Oh, what do the crows like?
Everything.
Oh,
We have flocks of geese, and we have the crows, and we have the squirrels, and because we're right next to an orchard, we also have a problem with a couple of rats right now, which we're trying to take care of. But wildlife.
yeah. Helping themselves to our table. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And anytime you come by and we're there, you can ask us any questions. We have an array of people who have a lot more knowledge than myself.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. All right. Well, I'll be coming by soon. So I look forward to seeing you. Okay. So before we go on to a board business, and tonight's a pretty lean meeting. We just focused on the elections, and then we have some board business. But Gail, I was wondering if we could call on you to talk about the 82nd Avenue Parade and what happened and what you did there and what it was like. Okay, you have to turn on your sound. Okay. Oh dear. Gail was in the parade as part of her band. Her band was in the parade. And Kim DeLeo, I see you have your hand up.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to thank Machu for providing my Southeast Uplift brief for tonight. He hit all the highlights with the upcoming trainings.
Oh, okay.
And he had PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, fine. Well then, all right. Then you're
You did
done
a great
for
job.
the evening.
Thank you, Machu.
Absolutely. And if you want me to show the slides again when we get to that item on your agenda, I could do that.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so Gail is writing in the chat that it was awesome. The weather was perfect. Lots of participants, lots of viewers. Okay. And what instrument do you play, Gail? Flute and bubbles? Flute and bubbles, all right. Okay, so your band was essentially a small marching band then. Yes, okay. And who was ahead of you and who was behind you? Cars. What, like old cars? Oh, I see, okay. Vintage cars. Oh, electric cars in front, all right. And old cars behind, all right. So it was electric cars, the marching band, and then old cars. Okay, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for participating in the parade. I wish I could have come and seen you. But it's very exciting for us to have an actual parade participant. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay. And all right, very fine. Well, let's go on to our board business, which shouldn't take too long. We should have an early adjournment tonight. Laura Lee, do you want to shine on the minutes here?
I had
You
to
want
think
to
for,
make-
yeah, I had to think for a second. Which ones are we?
Okay, so, all right, so we are going to be approving the minutes of March and April.
Yeah, I sent out the updated and corrected minutes to everybody on Monday. So, thanks for feedback. I love always feedback. So I move to approve minutes for March 2023 and April 2023.
Second,
Do we hear a second?
second.
Oh, okay. Pam, or, okay. Oh, you put it, Gail posted a 2 up there. Okay, well, Pam and Gail, they both seconded it. All right, very fine. And so I guess we have to vote on that. Let me call the roll real fast. Do we all approve this measure, which has been moved and seconded? Casey?
Yay.
Yay, okay. Laura Lee?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
Gail? Yes, okay, right. Vivian?
Aye.
And I, Stephanie, I. All right, so I think that's everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, very fine. All right, so the measure passes unanimously, or the motion. Very good. Thank you very much for doing those minutes, Laura Lee. It's a huge help. All right, and now we have Pam. We need to approve the treasurer's report of March 2023.
Yes, and I emailed that to the board yesterday. Sorry for the late notice. You probably noticed that at the end of March, we have a forecasted balance of $5,970.19, which is on the low side because it does not reflect the substantial increases from the spring green event that was held on April 1st. So when you see the April treasurer's report next month, it should be much higher. And I think really that's the only noteworthy item. Were there any questions or comments about the March report?
Not from me, anyway. Is there anyone else on the board who had any questions about the figures here? So we end up with a forecasted balance of almost $6,000, which is not bad, and that takes into account several large expenses. So that's the recycling is offset by the grant, but the movie in the park is our own expense. And we have received an invoice, but I think that Gail is going to ask for it to be lowered. Is that right, Gail? And I can't see Gail at the moment, but well, Gail is nodding. Okay, very fine. Okay. Well, no, I don't have any questions, and Pam sends this out, and then I go through and with an Excel spreadsheet and I add and subtract up all the stuff and you see everything came out exact to the penny. My Excel agreed with what Pam had computed. So I have no questions, just some applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for your second set of eyes. I appreciate it, you know. So if there are no further questions or comments, I move to approve the March Treasurers Report.
Okay, Gail, I'm giving you a chance to post your two. Okay, Gail. Okay, Gail is seconding it. Okay. All right, so it has been moved and seconded. Let me call the roll real fast. Casey?
Aye.
Okay,
Here.
Laura Lee.
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
Gail? Oh, we already have Gail, of course. Vivian?
Aye.
And me, I'm an aye. So again, that's unanimous. Okay, very good. Thank you for doing these reports month after month, Pam. That it's really appreciated. And sometimes they're not always that straightforward, and there are things to figure out that you wouldn't think would cause a problem. All right. And so the final item under board business is the report from Southeast Seplet, but as Kim DeLeo pointed out, Matthew beat you to the punch, right?
He had a PowerPoint. It was great. It was just the update of the events. They had dates now. Those were the events that he showed on the slide with the bylaws, nonprofit training, budget finance. There was one thing I was going to mention, and Machi maybe want to chime in here. There's a districting commission currently going on, and they're voting on the new district like maps in May, and then there'll be public comment in June. So maybe something we might want to keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
And I could post a link in the chat. You'll have to go to the independent district commission to sign for their updates and confirm dates there.
Mhm.
But there it is, portland.gov/transition. You can click on that commission to follow it and submit your own ideas for the districts.
Machi's just like my phone a friend tonight. I love it. Thank you. That's great. All right.
Well, how about we ask that just Brentwood Darlington be one district?
Yeah.
We'll have 3 representatives and we're really well represented on the city council.
Right.
I like that idea. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you.
All right. So that was our board business. Under other business, we did receive announcement today in connection with the TGM draft of the final recommendations. Pam, could you just comment on that briefly, that just to say it exists and what the public outreach will be?
Oh, so are you saying, Stephanie, that you saw an announcement from them today? Because I checked this morning, I didn't see anything.
Oh, yeah, I got a long email asking. So it was 2 parts. That part, they wanted to know your opinion and mine about whether they should add the Woodstock Library or Farmers Market as places to advertise the draft report. You didn't see this?
No, but I've been having problems with Xfinity sending emails to my junk file. So
I see.
sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Why you're asking me to provide an update.
I see. Yeah, I beg your pardon. Okay, so I don't remember all the details of this email, but here's the deal. With the TGM, the goal was to create a report that contains recommendations for what to do about our neighborhood and parts of the neighborhoods adjoining us. And now such a report exists in draft, and it's time for the public to react to it. And so the TGM planners are going to be advertising this draft in all the venues that they can think of. and solicit commentary from the people who live in the neighborhoods. So I haven't seen the draft, but I expect to find it very, very interesting. And as soon as we know more, we'll make sure that everyone on the board gets exact information on how to access this thing, and we can, we, especially Pam, can answer questions because she's been participating as on the resident representative committee to the planning effort. So this is kind of exciting. It's the culmination of over 18 months of work. I'm very eager to see what's being recommended, and I guess we're all going to find out pretty soon. So that's the bottom line on this thing. So I don't have any more detail at the moment. I've never seen the draft.
Well, I have seen the draft. I was just not allowed to release it beyond the project advisory committee. But as I reported last month, because the draft was sent to the project advisory committee on April 4th, and we had a meeting walking us through it. And there was really no new information. So unless there's been significant feedback from the project advisory committee that would cause them to tweak the draft since April 4th, it should be what we've all seen from them in the past. And the public engagement was slated to begin at the end of April. So they are running a little bit late on that, which doesn't surprise me because they were forecasting 6 weeks of public engagement, which included just a host of forums, online open house and survey, which would be advertised by a mailer to every single household within the study area, Zoom events and webinar, a special map app where they could visualize the geographical area, tabling at community gathering places and events. So it looks like that email to you and I this morning was just adding to the list of community places and events. So I think that the more the merrier, basically. Mm-hmm. And then targeted outreach to Latinx and Asian communities, renters, stakeholder interviews, and presentations at neighborhood association meetings. So we might want to invite them back during the 6-week period to give, a brief refresher on the recommendations.
Okay, that would be nice, maybe for the June.
Yes.
June meeting. Okay, and all right, and then, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, and then as I mentioned at our last board meeting, we had drafted some survey questions and requested the planners to include in their TGM survey these questions about use of the Brentwood Darlington Community Center so that we got more exposure, letting all residents know, yes, this facility exists, here's the vision for revitalization of the center, and, do they support it? And the thinking was, that we could tabulate those survey responses to show hopefully a groundswell of support for the Brentwood Darlington Community Center when the report with those recommendations go to the Planning Commission and City Council. So,
okay.
I believe it's being included, but I won't know for sure until I see it.
Oh, okay, very fine. Okay, thanks very much, Pam. All right. Okay, so yeah, it would be nice to have somebody speak to us in June about about this report. And so could you reach out to, say, Bill Cunningham or somebody?
I assume it would be Bill.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind inviting him.
Oh, I will do that. I need to follow up with him as to what the delay is in starting the public engagement outreach, but it wasn't slated until the end of April. So, here we are the first week in May. It's really not that late in the overall scheme of things.
Okay, very good. Okay, fine. Super. Thank you very much then. Okay, and then I have hold on just 1 second. Okay, I beg your pardon. I wanted to give an update on Eric Wyckoff. We had talked with him. Derek got in touch with him and recommended him to take on the position of land use chair. And at first, Eric was very open to that and embracing it, but then he got a promotion at his job that is taking him out of town more and more hours. And he told me he loves his job, so this is not a burden. He did not turn down the promotion. But he said he's sorry, he just cannot serve on the board and do land use. He just doesn't have the time. So I proposed to him that he become an advisor and to whom we could reach out now and then if we have questions, we want opinion on the land use development or, well, yes, on land use. And because of his experience, he could help us by rendering an opinion, giving advice and so on. And he accepted that. He said, yes, that he can do. So I was just delighted. This just happened today. So I wanted to propose to the board and now make a motion that we officially invite Eric to become an advisor to the board. So I move that we invite Eric Wyckoff to become one of our board advisors. And
I'll
Gail, you
second it.
second it?
Oh,
Okay.
God, did Gail get in there again?
Yes,
Oh,
she
man.
did. Oh, Derek wanted to.
So
Derek
fast
wanted
with
to
that.
second it.
I'll third it. How about that?
Okay, Derek will third it. Thank you, Derek, for putting Eric into our life. We're
Uh-huh.
really, I'm really happy about this, and that he'll remain connected with us in a way that's compatible with his work. And so this was really good news. I mean, it was
Right.
sad that he can't become land use chair, but it's good news that he'll still be helping us and be connected with us. Okay,
Right,
so
Stephanie, and you already mentioned that he is a previous chair of the neighborhood association, right?
yes, he's been land use chair and chair.
Yes, okay.
So, yeah, no, he has a lot of good experience. And when you and I were talking this morning, I
Mhm.
told you how many other people recommend him and just think so highly of him. And
Right.
so we want to connect with him or stay
Mhm.
connected. And so I'm just delighted that that he said he would do that. So okay, so I have to get we've moved and seconded and thirded, and I need to go down the board for a vote. Casey, are you there? I'll come back to him.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Okay, Laura Lee,
Aye.
Derek,
Aye.
Kim,
Aye.
Pam,
Hi.
Gail, yes. All right, and Vivian
Aye.
and me, aye. Okay, moved, seconded, thirded, and passed unanimously. So now we have a fifth advisor. This is very exciting. Each of them is contributing something very special. Oh, okay, Brett is leaving. Thank you, Brett. Bye-bye. So this is very, very nice to have this group working with us, people who can't necessarily put in all the hours that are required for a board member, but they still want to be connected and contribute to our neighborhood's well-being. So thank you, board, for approving the creation of this group to begin with. And now we have 5 members. It's really cool. Yeah. All right. Any other board business that somebody would like to bring up? Okay. Hearing only silence. I hereby adjourn the meeting. Thanks to all of you who re-upped. Really, really appreciate you. And
Thank you.
we'll see you soon. And take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.